Stephen Moffat's return to the BBC, Inside Man, proved to be a twisty and dark tale, in which David Tennant's Harry Waddling found himself drawn towards murder after making a series of extremely bad decisions. Meanwhile, Stanley Tucci's Jefferson Grief, a murderer on death row, became involved in the investigation of a missing woman, with the two stories becoming increasingly intertwined as the series progressed. In the fourth and final episode, which featured Dolly Wells and Lydia West as well, questions were resolved and fates were sealed, bringing the series to a satisfying conclusion. Will there be another season of Inside Man, though? With a few unanswered questions and a mid-credits scene implying there might be more story to tell? So here's everything you need to know about Inside Man Season 2. Inside Man Season 2 release date. Moffat told RadioTimes.com in an exclusive interview. Moffat said, "The story will end in 4 episodes. It's done by the end of that. As to whether or not you could ever spin off anything or do any kind of sequel, I don't know at this moment." Moffat added that it will depend on the audience response to the first season, as well as whether he had a clear idea of where the story would go in a second run of episodes. He added, "Television is littered with shows that had one season and pretended they could carry on. I would never want to be one of those, where you're so excited to get a phone call about doing another run that you do it and then realize, actually, the story is finished." It's difficult to predict when the second season will premiere on BBC One without confirmation that it will happen. We believe the earliest it could be turned around is in a year, or in the autumn of 2023. Inside Man Season 2 cast. If the series returns, Stanley Tucci appears to be the most likely person to reprise his role as the enigmatic criminal expert Jefferson Grief. Grief proved to be the story's anchor as it unfolded, even when it took place on the other side of the world, while he was imprisoned on death row in the United States. But he obviously wouldn't be able to return without his right-hand Dylan Kempton, Atkins Estamond, who is surprisingly likable for a 14-time woman killer. Grief also developed a close friendship with eager reporter Beth Davenport, played by Lydia West. Given that they were both intrigued by the other, they may end up teaming up again for a new mystery. However, the rest of the cast will depend. We don't expect Dolly Wells' character Janice Fife to make a big comeback, now that she's back out in the world avoiding everyone like she used to. Though if Harry stands trial, she's obviously going to have to be there to take him down. Inside Man Season 2 plot. If there is a Season 2, and it is a continuation of the plot from Season 1, Harry will most likely be out of the story, and Grief will have a new case to get his teeth into, all while facing the ticking clock of his own execution, of course. Grief could theoretically be placed in any situation anywhere in the world, because he never left prison, and does all his clever stuff through proxies like the mechanic and the gangster. However, the Season 1 mid-credits scene left a clear opening, investigating Janice's husband's murder. In that scene, she asked him to investigate the death of her husband. Did she have a husband all along? Despite the fact that, as she revealed, he isn't dead but deserves to be. There's also the possibility that Harry and Grief will work together to secure his release. With 2 weeks left on death row, Grief is intent on focusing on cases that he feels has moral worth, though what he considers moral worth could be easily open to interpretation. However, a vicar's attempts to protect his son and cover up the actions of a mentally ill pedophile are morally gray areas. It all depends on whether he thinks Harry's misguided attempts to help are worth his time. However, this could mean a completely new cast with only a few connecting threads if it's a new story. We'll find out more when and if things are announced. So that's for today. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell to receive future updates.